Malaysia is now facing one of its worst economic recession. The national economy has recorded a negative growth rate for the first time in history, with GDP falling by nearly 1%. The sharp drop in global commodity prices, especially rubber and tin, has badly impacted our export earnings. As a result, many factories have shut down, unemployment is rising, and business confidence is low.
In response, the government has taken several important steps. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has announced new strategies to stabilize the economy and prepare for long-term growth. These include cutting public spending, encouraging foreign investments, and shifting focus commodities to manufacturing and industrial development. Although the road ahead is challenging, the government believes Malaysia can recover stronger and more resilient. Together we face the storm, and together we will rise. Therefore, we already conducted quick interviews with a few citizens to know their opinions regarding the current situation.
Hi, sir.
Hi, miss.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
First of all, I want to ask, what's your name?
My name is Muhammad Rashidi.
And what do you do for a living?
Oh, I work as a kindergarten teacher.
Okay, first of all, I want to ask, how has your daily life been affected by the recession?
My daily life has been badly impacted by the recession. This is because right now the price of basic necessities such as food and fuel have been raised up. So I need carefully calculate my budget for reducing some wasting. And right now, my mood is not very good because I was concerned about my future and current situations.
So my second question is, do you or anyone in your family lose a job during this time?
Yeah, it was my uncle. He worked as a worker in the factory, and right now he lost his job as a worker of the factory because the manager of the factory decided to cut the cost of the production by firing some worker. This was really bad because right now my uncle is the main resource of the household, so it's not a very good for them right now because during these recessions there was a lot of people losing their job.
Thank you. It's bad for you, right? So thank you.
Okay, hi. Today I'm with.
My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Hamizi.
Okay, now we are Hafiz to ask about our today's economic situation. Okay, Hafiz, I want to ask about how do you save yourself in our economic recession today?
Okay, to nowadays, as we know, our country face a big impact on economic crisis. So, for me, usually I'm spend my budget for me every day around 60 ringgit Malaysia. But now I need to cut it to around 30 ringgit, which is I need to cut our entertainment budget for a day. Like now, I only spend on petroleum and food only per day.
Okay, like you said before, it's about yourself only. But
Okay.
how about your family expenditure?
Okay, I want to tell about my salary. Okay, my salary per month is around 5,000 ringgit Malaysia as a manager. So, I usually spend around 50% to 60% from that salary to family expenditure. Okay, first of all, I will spend around 18 to 18,000 80,000 sorry 1,000 around to buy the food and beverage.
Yeah.
And other than that we will spend on family entertainment like the Wi-Fi bill, electric bill and something like that. So my family is my family tradition is around weekend we will go on healing. So we will go to beach or go to karaoke and other that. So then during this economic crisis, the price of something like that is going to up.
Okay.
So very higher than previously. So from every weekend, I only go to karaoke or something like that once a week. Once a week. I'm sorry, once a month. So that's mean from 4 times a month, it's come to one a month. So that's why I always used to family to reduce my family expenditure. Okay,
Okay, that's all.
that's all, Mister
Okay,
Fam.
okay, thank you, Mr.
Hi
Hafiz.
sir, can I ask you a few questions for a short interview?
Yes.
First, what is your name and what do you do for a living?
My name is Shaif. Right now, I'm just a student.
Okay, so the first question is, have you noticed more people losing jobs or closing down their business?
If I'm not mistaken, my neighbor, front of my house, has just lost his job. Um, I think it's from central bank because right now, if I'm not mistaken, the bank is closing down in its employees. So I think he just got fired.
Okay, so the next question is, do you think the government is doing enough to support the people?
I think right now the government is trying to support its people because if I'm not mistaken, last week the news said that the government is trying right now is doing the monetary policy, which is helping the economy getting back in its feet. And also, if I'm not mistaken, the small businesses also have monetary gain or care packages to help them maintain their businesses in the recession.
Okay, so thank you.
Today, I want to give you a simple briefing about Malaysian economic crisis 1985-1986. For your information, this is the first economic crisis that Malaysia faced after the Independence Day. Nowadays, the Malaysian government is now depending on the natural resource only, such as rubber. And then, this is why Malaysia got face the economic crisis. But the Malaysian government just not sit down they just not to sit down to face this problem. Malaysian government has privatized the government sector such as Tenaga Malaysia and Telekom Malaysia. So it will reduce our government expenditure in paying salary or for that stuff. But to restore more economic to develop more economic resource for Malaysia, Malaysia government has used look its policy, which is make Japan and Korea as national example to follow their economic sector. So that as a Malaysian citizen, I advise you to have a saving to overcome this economic crisis. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the graph talker, so I'm going to talk about the graph for this year. Let's go. You guys might be wondering, how is the graph is from 1984 to 1987 when this year is 1985? For 1986 and 1987, we make a prediction for next year. So right now, we can see that 1984, our economy is at 8.8% GDP. But in 1985, our GDP plummeted to negative 1.1%. That's a big drop. Now, why did this happen? This happens because our commodity prices for rubber and tin plummeted down. This makes our economy drop so much because they are our main exports. But next year, 1986 to 1987, we predicted it will increase back because our government is implementing policies and things that we can claim that will increase our economy back. So you guys don't need to worry or panic because our government can handle it.
The
Back to you.
unemployment rate has increased from 5.8% in 1984 to 8.5% in 1985. At the same time, government revenue decreased sharply, making it difficult for the government to cover its basic operational expenses. The main domestic causes of the recession was Malaysia's overdependence on primary commodities. During that time, the industrial and manufacturing sectors in Malaysia were still underdeveloped. As a result, when commodity price fell, the economy was severely affected due to the lack of diversification. International factors also contribute to the recession. In 1985, the tin market collapsed after the failure of the International Tin Council to control tin price. At the same time, global oil prices fell, which reducing Malaysia's export earning. In addition, major global economies such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and Japan experienced slowdown. This led to a decline in demand for Malaysian export and further weakening the economy.
Hey guys, did you know that during the recession time in 1985 until 1986, the government of Malaysia at that time used several steps to recover the economy at that time. Firstly, they used expansionary monetary policy to increase the money supply in the market and also to control the unemployment rate at that time. The Central Bank of Malaysia at that time used tools which is statutory reserve ratio by providing a targeted credit facilities, and also they introducing 1 billion new investment fund at that time. Because of that, the GDP of Malaysia in 1987 increased by 5.2% after the recession time. Then what government do is by applying the contractionary fiscal policy. This policy helped to manage the government spending and also to reduce the deficit. Under the Prime Minister at that time, the public spending was cut and the taxes were increased. Although there is a decline in national income at that time, it actually helped to repay the debt at that time. And then, along with the structural reform, this step helped in raise the confidence of the investor and also supported a long-term economic growth. Okay, go to the next section.
Impact of recession 1985 to 1986. The impact of these recessions have mainly on three things, which is GDP, gross demand product, unemployment rates, and inflation rates. For GDP, it shows a negative growth, which is there is a sharp decline in export of commodities, especially oil, rubber, and teas. Because of this, government decided to cut the spending for the public. This is because they failed to take a tax as their revenue. This is show a contraction of aggregate demand. Next, for the unemployment rate. Okay. In 1985 to 1986, it show unemployment rate is increasing by 1.2%. This is because the industrial and manufacturing has been in a slow productions. Because of this, the firm decided to terminate some of the employees to reduce costs and losses. This resulting in increasing of unemployment rate and reduce the power purchase of the civilians. And lastly, for the inflation rates, during the recession 1985 and 1986, the inflation rate surprisingly is stable and low. This can be shown by in 1985 and 1986, the inflation rate is also 0.3% and 0.7% respectively. This is show that recession does not impact by the inflation but the deflations. For some reasons, during recession, the demand is low and weak because of the deflationary results. That's all from me. Thank you.
In conclusion, the government should not depend too much on the commodity sector. Instead, Malaysia should grow other areas, tourism, digital economy, and services to increase income and jobs. The government also need to plan the budget wisely and avoid wasting money on unimportant projects. Besides that, money must be managed with honest to gain investors' trust and avoid corruption. The government should also focus on another sector like green energy and digital technology to prepare for the future and create more job opportunities.